think I was afraid of not knowing. There's a difference. Being wrong gives you something to hold, a position, an opinion, a correction. Not knowing, well, it gives you nothing. No edge, no structure, no orientation. This episode is for the person who believes that they can handle anything as long as they understand it. I didn't realize how much of my stability came from understanding things, understanding people, patterns, and what something meant. I could handle almost anything as long as I could make sense of it. But what happens when there's nothing to solve or interpret? I'm not sure when this pattern emerged, but at some point, certainty became the way I felt secure. Maybe you were the one who figured things out early, the one who was called wiser beyond your years, or the old soul, the rational one, the beacon in the middle of the storm. Maybe you learned that if you could interpret the situation, you could maneuver around it and eventually survive it. If you knew what someone was feeling, you could prepare. If you could predict the outcome, you could brace for it or overcome it. If you could connect the pieces, you could stay composed. Certainty wasn't about being right. It was about not feeling unmoored. And over time, that skill hardened into identity. You became the one who understands, the one who sees the bigger picture, the one who doesn't unravel. But underneath that, there was an unwritten contract. If I make sense of it, I can survive it. You might rush answers, quickly interpret, quickly decide, quickly define, because ambiguity unsettles you. Or you might do the exact opposite. Overconsider, overanalyze, delay decisions until the picture feels complete. Different behaviors, same aim. Orientation. Both are ways of trying to restore footing when the ground feels unstable. When a relationship shifts and no one explains it. When your body changes and there's no clear reason. When work feels like you're stepping into murky waters. When the future you plan or imagine dissolves or no longer fits. It's not just uncomfortable. It's disorientating. And disorientation does something to the nervous system. You reread messages, you replay conversations, you search for signs, not because you're looking to create drama, but because you're looking to restore your footing. You want to know, is this temporary? Is this permanent? Did I miss something? Did I cause something? We tell ourselves we're just being thoughtful, but sometimes we're trying to rebuild internal order because uncertainty feels like a free fall, and a free fall feels like exposure. Maybe certainty was praised in you. Maybe being perceptive made you useful. Maybe being insightful made you trusted. And if that's true, then clarity didn't just feel good. It felt like belonging. But what happens when clarity doesn't arrive? When there's no explanation, no clean narrative, no confirmation? What remains of you then? There are seasons that refuse to explain themselves. Conversations that trail off, relationships that hover in gray space, decisions that don't come with reassurance. If you've organized yourself around understanding, that kind of season can feel like erosion. You weren't wrong for becoming the one who knows. That ability likely kept you steady. It may have kept you safe, but maybe you're tired of having to interpret everything in order to feel grounded. Maybe you're exhausted from narrating your life just to calm your nervous system. Maybe clarity stopped being a strength and started being a requirement. Because if you don't have the answers, who are you? Still competent? Still steady? Still worthy of trust? Or did uncertainty become the thing you lean on to prove those things? That's the part that's hard to admit. It's not that you love answers. It's that you don't know who you are without them. There's a particular kind of discomfort in not knowing. It hums under the surface. It shows up as restlessness, as overthinking, as a subtle urgency to resolve. You want to research, ask, define. You want to close the loop, not because you need control over other people or the situation, but because you need internal stability. But what if this season doesn't offer clarity? No resolution for the moment. What if clarity is delayed? Or worse, it doesn't come? What if understanding isn't available yet? Who are you in that space? Still perceptive? Still thoughtful? Still grounded? Even without a conclusion? Even without a storyline? Even without certainty? There's humility in not knowing. And there's something exposing about realizing how much of your identity depended on understanding. You don't have to abandon discernment. You don't have to stop thinking deeply. You might simply not need immediate answers to remain intact. You may be able to exist without solving. Before we conclude, if caffeine and clarity has felt like a steady place for you, something that keeps you company during the week, there's a few simple ways to support this space. You're always welcome to subscribe or leave a comment. Those are small gestures that help at no cost to you. And if it feels right, there's also the option to donate. Or you can visit the shop and choose something that feels like it belongs with you. Mostly, I'm just glad you're here and grateful for the way you help make room for conversations like this when they're needed the most. This is Unbecoming, a series about the selves we had to become to survive and the courage it takes to let them go. If this stayed with you, let it stay. You don't have to extract insight from it. Just notice what feels honest. And remember, you don't have to determine what this means right now. You don't have to forecast what happens next. You don't have to rush interpretation to feel steady. It might be enough to just notice the impulse, to feel the urge for clarity without immediately satisfying it. You remain yourself, even without resolution. I'll see you on the next one.